Supersets. Why are they so good for building muscle? They allow you to increase your intensity and your training volume. So you guys are going to love today's video because I had the opportunity to do an entire superset arm workout with Charles Glass, who many consider the greatest bodybuilding trainer of all time. So Charles has some very unique and outside the box tactics, and I promise you guys are going to walk away from this video with a whole new understanding of what an intense high volume arm workout is. Now the other legend we have in the building right now is Kitty Gaines, who has a very important message for you.
Like this video or you're gonna have Kitty super arms.
Superset 1, we have lying horizontal curls with overhead rope triceps. Now, the first portion of the superset, we did biceps. So the lying horizontal curls is a very unique motion, and the one thing that Charles really has me do in all my arm workouts is there's a couple movements where we always do full range of motion, and that means all the way to our forehead. So we're actually gonna have to lift up our elbows a little bit to get that full range of motion all the way to our forehead. Now, I recently posted this exercise, and there's a few people even on Instagram who were saying, no, you have to keep your shoulders stationary. Well, that may be true for a ton of bicep movements. Getting that full range of motion that the bicep muscle was made to do is really beneficial to your workouts. And I guarantee you that if you do this technique, you're gonna have a lot of added hypertrophy. So we went full range of motion. We did 4 total supersets. So just keep in mind the rep range on all these was between 10 to 12 for each exercise. And then the overhead rope triceps. Not only are we hitting the long head of the triceps, the largest muscle in the upper arm, with more shoulder flexion here and our arms overhead, but we really hit the medial head of the triceps, which I've been neglecting so much in my training. I'm really excited to see the gains that these techniques are gonna give me in my arms, because by keeping our knuckles together and really keeping a straight hand and straight wrist at the bottom of all the reps, so when you lock out that concentric portion of the rep, really focusing on twisting knuckles out, keeping your hands together and locking those wrists is gonna really activate the medial head of the tricep. So pretty much throughout all my reps, he's making sure that I'm just keeping my hands together, I'm keeping my knuckles together, and I'm rotating my wrists outward. So we did 4 total supersets, 10 to 12 rep range for each portion, and we kept our rest times around 60 seconds. Superset 2 is dumbbell incline curls for the bicep part of the superset. Now, this exercise is done wrong so many times in the gym, and he really corrected my form right off the bat on this because he made sure that I was at a very wide position, so I'm really stretched out, my arms are out wide, and this puts the biceps in an incredibly weak position, and it also really stretches them. So supinated grip, and I'm actually trying to twist my wrist out as much as I can. Just think about like what you would need to do to really stretch that bicep out as much as you can throughout the duration of each rep. So as you come down to the bottom, you're getting that full stretch, and then you're coming back up and you're really trying to twist that wrist out. So you want to go very light on this exercise. I was doing, I think, 25 or 27.5. And you know, I can do standing hammer curls with 70, 80 pounds. You want to go light on this and really focus on the stretch and the activation. The tricep portion of the superset is dumbbell overhead triceps. Now, one big switch is going to give you guys so many more gains on this exercise. Most of you guys are doing this wrong. You're coming straight up on the concentric portion. I want you to think not only of coming up, but also pushing back slightly. This is going to stretch the long head of the triceps, make it incredibly difficult, and give you way more activation right in that long head. So drop the weight a little bit, focus on pushing up and pushing backwards a little bit, and you guys are gonna have a lot more tricep gains from this movement. So we did 4 total supersets of this, 10 to 12 reps on each one, resting about 45 seconds between supersets. The most intense one of the workout, I tell you what, right after the first superset, I was like, holy shit, 3 more of these, and my arms are gonna be toast. Now, the first portion of the superset is the preacher curl machine, but one big switch that he had me do is he had me actually put my feet back a little bit, so I was leaning more forward at the start of the movement, and he made sure that I once again was going all the way to my forehead and squeezing as hard as I could at the top of every single rep. So this little switch made the preacher curl machine way more difficult. So just kick those feet back, lean forward, and squeeze as hard as you can all the way in. Focus on activation instead of ego lifting, because if you're using too much momentum and anterior deltoid, you're taking away from the bicep portion of the movement. So drop the weight, go 10 to 12 reps with perfect form, and squeeze the shit out of that bicep for a good 2 to 3 seconds at the top of every single rep. And then for triceps, this was brutal. So we did tricep press downs, but once again, one little switch made a huge difference. Instead of just pushing straight down, I want you to about pushing down and pushing out away from you at a slight angle. So once again, this is going to hit more of the medial head of the triceps. You're keeping a straight wrist, really keeping a straight hand throughout this portion of the rep. And when you lock it at the bottom with the straight wrist, a solid hand, you're gonna feel a lot more right in that medial head of the triceps. So instead of pushing straight down and losing activation away from that crucial medial head, push down and push out a little bit and really make sure that you lock out that grip. So we did 10 to 12 reps and he really pushed me to go heavy on this. Obviously, triceps are more fast twitch. You do wanna push yourself and go fairly heavy on triceps. So I went like, the last set I was so heavy where I was probably only doing 7 reps, then he assisted me on the last 3 to 4 reps. Superset 4 is a weird one. So the first portion of the superset, we're doing dead hang curls. So you're on a preacher curl machine, you're facing the opposite way, you're locking in your, just lock it in right in your armpit, and you're gonna elevate your elbows slightly as you come up. So this one, once again, you're getting that full range of motion at the top, so you're not gonna be completely stationary. You're gonna elevate that elbow a tiny bit, full range of motion, squeeze all the way to your forehead, and then control it on the eccentric portion. So it's a full squeeze on the concentric, squeeze at the top, and then down slow and controlled on the eccentric portion. And you're gonna create a lot more healthy micro tears on this. So go light, go 10 to 12 reps on this. In the tricep portion of the superset, I don't know what you call it, so we're gonna call it face down, gains up. And I've just tried to film this take like 10 times on how to explain how to do this exercise. It's really confusing how to explain it. Just watch the video closely. But what I really did feel on this exercise is you feel a ton of medial tricep activation. So you're dropping your head and then you're pressing up in a way, not where you're using your chest, but you're using all of your triceps. So you're of course doing body weight on this exercise, and it was a very interesting movement. So definitely try it out at your gym. You will get some stares, but it's a great way to shock the triceps and do more growth, or an easy little superset that you can do after a bicep movement. We are up to today's giveaway. So one lucky person is going to win Superhuman pre-workout in orange Gainsicle flavor. And all you have to do to enter is like today's video, subscribe, tap that notification bell, and comment down below what muscle group you want me to film with Charles Glass next. So I train with him twice a week, and every single time I've trained with him, I have learned so much. And of course, I want to share it with my Superhuman fam. So comment down below, let me know what muscle group you want me to film with Charles Glass next. One lucky person is going to win Superhuman Orange Gainsicle. And anyways, guys, it is Sunday night. I'm going to bed soon. I'll see you on the next video.
You ain't got no gains. You ain't lift no weights.